umesiwa.
Ye umesiu. Eto china umesiu. Eno china umesiu. Abakwe gbe.
Ye umesiu.
Ye umesiu.
Ye umesiwa.
Ye umesiu. Eto china umesiu. Eno china umesiu. Abakwe gbe.
Nyanyemelo bobo ni to.
Ye.
Nyanyemelo bobo ni to.
Ye. Nyanyemelo na bobo ni to. Ye. Nyanyemelo na bobo ni to. Ye.
Nyanyemelo bobo ni to. Nyanyemelo bobo ni to.
Nyanyemelo na bobo ni to. Nyanyemelo na bobo ni to.
Asabotoelo nele glume, asabotoelo. Nanele glume.
Sabotoelo nanele glume, sabotoelo.
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 Sabose ae. Sabose ae. Urikaila, Bojikobla,
Shio we should quickly do a feeding of our ancestors before playing the Akpo. That's why today all of us who are inside Akpo, we are about to start the feeding of our ancestors. Each and everyone will call their ancestors names and then we'll feed them. So I am the Bokor today. Oh, ago, Mauga. So what is a Mauga Kika? Mauga said Joto, I'm a Joto, and said Nano, and said Diana, woman, I'm a baby. Not the big. I say, I find him a good do no say, baby, but I put do here. I am your Toba Gage, Papa Sister, and sister, Mayor Brahini, Mayor Babachi, Mayor Ube, Folly, go Folly, Folly Coco, for the care, Vodo, Kucha Puma, come Lagata when you were near. We are trying to consider you're not a cosa for the cup gate. That's in our most if you see the Amcosa, Dracobla, and you're like a ticket. Your point is Celestine, I want to be a Caterina, could be a phone and say, for your Ben, I could be a you're like a ticket. I put over the family, Borello. They have been out the Bodu and Fanny out of Indonesia. Vodo. You have been trying to watch that. Yes, see, I can't cut the mesa. Judging and go for that. Tuji, Bokor Tuji, Tobe Tuji, Okiniki. As I said, Barasu Barabonana, the Yora, your Bokata, so I'm going to Facha Joke. Mayor who know Honura Levapo, who know Honura Africa. A Mayor Apo who know Amabe Anani Gretu, over the Kenyo. Yabe Komu Wamile. A Mayor Apo who know Pete Abe Tela, Patreto Pete, Amici over the Bome. Eva Konuari Mayor. I mean, online. Okay. Oh, your Mama comfort Hanyo. Your comfort Hanyo. Mayor Joseph Tonde. Mayor Joseph Tonde. Mayor Tobian Pussy. Colomia be Comla, Obla, Mayor Tobian Pussy. Mayor Lawrence Comla Obla. Mayor Lawrence, Lawrence Comla Obla. Me Togo ye Boko Akubia, me Togo ya Boko Akubia, me Mama Justine Akubonodi. Me yo Mama Justine Akubonodi. Yo Awoda Akume. Ele blo mi afi ma wuli lelo. Tasi ole. Believe Baji Kwanza. Yo me na ba ko. Yo Sagada promoter. Mayor Stephen Baji. Mayor Yachinami. Someone Baji Joffrey. Mayor Joffrey Baji. Mayor Mikakelo. Yo, it's a chair. Ajamensa, your togbe. At the togbe Ajamensa. Yo, it's a dome Kokubua, the very back of Jachinano. Yo, Mama Africa. Yo, Mama Victoria Adom. Yo, Itoga Ata Jones, Ajamensa. Achu, Ajamensa, Eden, Oyo Ralo. Edo, Ajamensa, Untifafa, Ajamensa, Mayo Chiaba. Okay. Said Selassie Nyaku. Ebe iyo itogbe collect to exactly. Ate. Eba ko. Ate. Ebe iyo deposit. Ebe iyo to bi akosi. Eba ko. Ama oforiwa. Bi eke mi le mi abi Said Komla Selassie Nyaku. Ebe iyo mi tan ba ko. Jachi godo. Miliba, Kwani Miliba, Oyo. Your jet posting, you never go to your Mary Kakraba, you can Imana, Mary Kakraba. your promise me later. Yo, dear. Yo, could you mean a okay, me to them and I'm Dixon, I'm a cool with you. I may have any. I mean, Dixon, I'm a cool. Paul. Paul, I don't have to answer. So you mean? Yao boso pin any pin again in the back of Jachi. Mary Adai. Oh, you're in the back of Jachi. Yeah, and see what Jachi. I'm a sell of coffee and tofu. Back of Jachi.
Capture things.
I chew a bottle of a coffee of two coffee bubble. Maybe you are talking coffee bubble. Maybe you are talking Kwame. Yao bubble. If you Kwame bubble, you are Lucas bubble. You are choosing. You are a boat. Nana Kofi Asante, if you are a fierce and while you're Nana Kofi Asante, Nana Amu Asari Kweku, Kofi Atuma, Epi Atuma, Nana Koku Mensa, Ama entry. Kwame Ajiagbedu disere ebe yo maka it told me amewuga mama dajengo it told me Ajiagbedu kwesi agwe kosi oyo ora Abraham Bokor Habada, oh, you're a Bokor you're a play feminine, may have potato, you play feminine over Jachi. Go my open memo, or you left the back of that team. You have been never talking for you, you may call up. You may not talk and call it. You have a taco. Don't check for your NSA, don't check. Mama, don't call it. No, Mama. Obey your Mama, you know, you may play talk with it, I don't check, but I don't check them over there. I have to go to the car. You like to take that. I'm going to problem with me. Ina jachi to. Yo to boko. Grigori. Mama akoswa agoku. Mama ni akoswa agoku. Na jachi mi apete. Ebori. Before ame even come. Ache. Yo. Ya wani mi yo. Jachi na ni kaka. Aha ni ba ni baba. Lihan tontonyi solo Lihan no de supli ore ni boto ni ko emi dalo ko be agbo lebo lo sia ele Lihan Blamilo, Yabeliha, and your Blematoba, before Bahari, and you live in Yana. Before me, I may have me your oh, one no matter if you are. So, I told me, don't property for you. No, you're the capo, but you're super Gemini. I told you, I have to go for the guy I talk with Tossy. You have you over there, go to Cameroon, then I put over it. You may just see, and you really have. I'm a woman on Uber Nuno. Oh, you are for me at the Rala. Try. Prepare. I think you have a day half palm wine. A pammy, and then don't you? Burukutu. Solo. Kabeletoba. Beer. Then we go African beer. Goro really. Goro, I'm over Goro. Let's go on. Your Patania, come here, try to boy, Jenica, you bought a car. They want cola. There are some dead people, they say they cola is what they chew, they don't drink. I was already in the Muslims among our families, they are the ones who are coming to eat the Goro. So we don't do it, but now the message came that I have to put a Goro there for them. Toji Haba. Come in the same conclusion. I believe in it was zero. I mean, what Yo, ele blow me le yen me ase. Be me na me how you go just spread inside there. Come yo, go ro ami biare yen yin lo. Si yen yin. Ache. Toji ha yin lo. E ho mi anu. Mi ana dagbe neba. Apedo e ho mi le pe me le go ro we. So gbe ablakore. Na wo do plan. Blackpool. No water. Play at that. Yo, yaba afebie ogogoro apekeshi so klolo so mazo. Push me. Leave me alone. I walk alone. Road master. I can go myself. Yes. They don't do advertisement, but people drinking more.
Oh, it's always the short.
The Gobro is a drink of the ghost. Okay. The ancestor, this is a real drink. So if somebody wants to tell ghosts to chase you, this is the drink they will use to pray. They won't use any other drink. Me abe aha bibi enye ile ni pop emi anu emi ana dagbe never pay me na apo do obo mi gbochori apo anejeji ala bare de mi ba bi ata emi pop cabbage nya kapo menya sapo owo mi he apodo he kore nusi anu ma fa mi na bi aba fedo hero amesi ame de la apo me bla me yo bete po bla mi de mi aba fedo anye. Yes, Nicole. Okay, man. But when I have to see my bank, and I'll answer 7 at that. Kókòlì kókó.
Oya.
Kókòlì kókó.
Oya.
Kòjọ́pọ̀ òfu.
Oya.
Kòjọ́ òní ẹgbọ̀n mẹ́fù.
Oya.
Olùwẹ̀lẹ̀ wà fẹ́ ọkọ̀. Ẹ̀yà tá a jì náà tẹ̀.
Yéé, kálẹ̀ tọ́ omi ìjàdó àbàgọ́nà.
Àbàrò lìlí mẹ́.
Yéé,
Kálẹ̀ tọ́ omi ìjàdó àbàgọ́nà. Kókòlì kókó.
Oya.
Kókòlì kókó.
Oya.
Kòjọ́pọ̀ òfu.
Oya.
Kòjọ́ òní ẹgbọ̀n mẹ́fù.
Oya.
Àmẹ̀mẹ́lẹ̀ wà fẹ́ ọkọ̀. Ẹ̀yà tá a jì náà tẹ̀. Kálẹ̀ tọ́ omi ìjàdó àbàgọ́nà. Àbàrò gbọ̀ tó gbẹ.
Ask some guy someday they'll make the queue then people go buy later. You know it's a good thing. Ask some guy. They say one guy, one guy.
Ali, check. Help them to finish.
If you didn't make, we ask Papa, we take them. Ask we get then if I think go be fast.
Yeah. Again, all the spirit and feelings also.
You see, Papa.
It's the truth of life.
Yeah.
When you are with the living spirit, it will tell you what is wrong with you, that which you yourself you don't know. He will see a woman, and the woman say, oh, I love you, I love you, I love you. Joe, I want to give you money, I want to do business with you.
Pressure.
She may be your death tomorrow. No, yesterday, Idris
Oh yeah, was looking. You was looking American.
Now they say you should bring one chicken. We kill for his pot and all other pot because the pot is the one that is protecting. This is the herbs. The herbs they make voodoo. When they say voodoo or spirit or come or anything, it is not anything.
It's referring to the herbs.
These ones are just clay to put on. The herbs are really inside. They are under. This one is just to give it an image. The real thing is So God is nature, and nature is God. There is no man with a long beard up there where you see the man up there. It's a lie. It's all around you.
Use the word. The word
I'm asking them if we can leave this one now and go on to other. They say yes. Are they sure that on 3 stones it is real? Yeah, done.
Oh, sorry.
Now, I want to born twins. No, twins.
But the women won't come. Women are there.
We should quickly do a feeding of our ancestors before doing the Akbo. That's why today all of us who are inside Akbo, we are about to start the feeding of our ancestors. Each and every one will call their ancestors' names, and then we'll feed them. Never don't know that I in it. Never don't know you, but you that I in it. Then I'm not if you like crying a cover at Ballet, never comment. Hello, I feel like the woman will obey the moment. Let them know you let that I. If you can be that over, you know, what you do to go back to work. A mare, and you get Information come
Okay.
information go cassette player
Oh, we are no like a block. I think I mean, I can
Nana, equal one equivalent.
we are no, I'll continue everything.
Because we have how many minutes?
Oh, no,
38 minutes square, Misa.
Excuse me.
I may consider it there. What we call hello?
Hello, c'est blue Milo. Baby, Ewe,
Come out the
blue Milo.
Mad the work of our own.
Any information totally.
Na con yo pe den dash na nya ma chinku jagba
When you are not a yoga, we don't tell them, don't go with that.
What be a problem with your vanity? You are now a young
Where mommy I to me and show.
And you're going to have a go with your first people.
In fact, I have got to go out there. When you can't consider a bad don't pay or got a paper. You know, you for doing the money.
But me wa nya jaro ke re so la mo you can make it little way ya Ela tá se lá assim, mano. Tá na boa notícia. Já não era já para mim, para como.
Ganha ele tá.
Será uma boa notícia por mais. Não vamos.
Laura.
Isso se é né para dizer,
Oh, ago mauga so bolisa me do ago. Mauga kitikata me do ago. Mauga ese joto amejoto. Ese nanu ame, ese tenanu ame. Omena wevi, dokuno wevi. Omena wevi medianu, dokuno wevi ogbena, dokuno wevi medianu, omena wevi ogbe osenye popolipo. Ese gla amegla me yora kekekeke. Me yoshe me hamfura shopete, yo semi fura shopete do ago. Yo Abraxas, me hoje adrepo do ago, eu tá adreto vevi me ku o be so ton ka, me yo me do ago. E me yo me na zo je anyi bizo ka ka chika zo be adre. Me ya la fa banya gbo mi la te akwi me nya gbo mi le juru hono me yo ra kekekelo, we nye anyi gba ma jo flo, for playing gba me do adika, we nya bri me ma te kulu eteku etega. E me yo akai be cho akai mo yo akai je bo akai bu so akai tro bo akai me yo akai bu fi akai ma mi wa ta akai yo akai. Beli pa me gba hada do la ko problem me do ji fi to ba so me te do ju me yo mi nu da o me yo mi ko gba o be wo o ka po o pe mi o zango me yo mi pe bi ra keke ni akọ gbese e me yo ra keke wo jo pata jo maku afoka me bol me chi me bol fu do me gbere okukuru ku atoro fo me jogbo nyo hie me jogbo nyo me to ya bo mo ju to adu kwa pe be ni o le fe me to ba jo tu zo pe du o mo no te fere ka jo pata be ile ha ti jo vo ba jo ni jo pata be fia jo pata me tro me gbe da mo lo abi fa gbe ri ni na jo pata re na fi ni ajo lo Jokpata te fe me yo me si me bo jiro to gbe de nta fo to gbe de nta fa pe lu ti zugbolu ajima ogboju pro do jaro pe nko me valenti papa me va lojo akofu ago sapa te me yo ati gele me yo kuro vodu me yo ra ken lo ala fia e me yo amega sese geja papa sese to gbe geje papa hanan yo brahini me yo bombo chi me yo mbe foli ko mo ke go mi bodo kurche kuma ko na to bonye mele me yo o yo tayo ko spe ko akubia yo na nyakoso go fo ni ko mgeje tasi nya mo si fusi jam ko so abra ko brama yo na manya gbojo mba to bonya ko kofi akubia mensa dori epe mbe pekuno o yo mi ponye Celestine ya akubia Katrina akubia fonya sense ko jo fonya ya oben akubia o be yo mi ara ke kuto me ne fana mi gogo mi na gbogo ne fana mlo e ye me yo mi asron e wo mbo ati akubia ko be si la pe ne ka te mensa kuto me na fana mi ya na gbogo ne fana ni ba kle bi me yo awu no tuji boko tuji to tuji me yo kini hasu ko da barasu barago na me yo ra ke me yo boko ada fili so fa hu agbobi boko afata wa joge e kuto me na fana mi e me yo hunu le ba kpora me yo hunu le gbi ya vega e kuto me na fana mi gbogbo re no e me yo togbe anani kretu le akpo huno le jita me yo ra ke me yo toboko sofo Abraham jevenu le chame me yo togbe fiato Simon Kavi Zapao le abenyi na sire kaka kuto me ne fana ni gbogbo le mi na gbagbo mi ne fana msia e me yo trevi bio Ibrahim bio mi ku be bio gbe tuta se ke gbe no po ije me le bacho na ngwa ga no me yo mi te shi mo pete mi ba kwa na sa ku mo no ko to mi ba kwa e mi ano mi ana pene fa gbe fa mi wo do mi pota ne lo babu me yo mi akeke ba fa dagbera e me yo abuchi sakraka me tuapa be adogo kotokoli don ko kunuma ko agbara ni bre to be no le cho franta mani fifi ko bi sinkra ko fito jamba ko cho do wa ko fito he ko bi atra me kable me yo mi dagbe ji me yo me apple ge de ma pesa ko chino po echi de no po echi ngoli bo po echi ta me de khere ke de ko he pesa ji e de pesa aguta be pesa ji ta e de pesa ye nyo wole me yo ra ke to be to be do ko chi ji me ko abeja na me ko ko chi ne tu ne do ko ne do ne do ne do to la mene glimdo me ci vono glimdo mo li vono glimdo anje vono glimdo tro vono glimdo ku vono glimdo nu vono glimdo nju vono glimdo nu vono glimdo e be ye pe me ga de funa fika e fora ku tu no da ni po no da ni ci vono da ni mo li vono da ni je vono da ni tro vono da ni ku vono da ni vono no nu vono da ni ci vono da ni pe be ye bonga me na ha ni ka e nya te pe me to be ho ba to me gba bo do to ra ko bi mo mai za pasa bi ku ni o ko to ko shi ni o ko to kere ku me yo ra e me yo mi akekelo dagbe ji me yo fa na go mi fa gbo ma jeso pe to so le me nda pa bi me yo pali gbe meji wo le meji lo so meji pali meji abla meji akla meji gudu ya meji sa meji ka meji trupe meji tula meji lete meji cha meji fu meji pali che tula me yo klebo vire ko ko to ba do bo ana to ba de nye ade ne ma ko le ndi na te pe ngale to me mi le nu fi agbe mi anye gba no to me na godo mi ana la me sese agbe ndi gba Because my baby Jim and everyone in Papua may be Pokran, let me, I don't call you, let me, I don't call Dory. Talk about Mamma, me own, me I tell me Toro, me own, come and tell me Doji, me and Agban, and I'm the penany, and I'm necessary, and I'm a penany. May you the Loban, I'm the same, you the Bagino for. That but I remember the Jimmy, the poor, no poor, maybe restaurant, even no poor restaurant, no person. Maybe this Roman tap on house or no potane. Maybe Jimmy tap on a view, no poor, maybe no coffee. I remember more no good because I didn't see any. Don't ever know. I go already and you have a poor, do me or Dorin. But I mean, the Doko, General, the Dokore, and the Dokore, Gina, go to my money, I'll come, climb your petty after the dog and just pay, as you need. Okay, now we are starting with greetings from Facebook. Saying we have Alana Morris Van Tassel say good morning. I will probably join in clubs when it opens. Okay, so Alana, the clubhouse is already open, so you can now join us. Thank you very much. I hope clubhouse people are actually listening to me. Thank you very much. And then we have a Nature Koku ranking. Victoria de la Folie, I save you water, my late mother. Okay, so he's talking to De La Koku ranking is talking to the mother Victoria de la Folie that he saved her water. That's very good. May God and your mother's blessings be upon you. Then we have David Frimpong, Grandma Ama Klu. Okay, so they have also called, somebody's also calling the grandmother Ama Klu view. Your grandchildren are calling you David Frimpong. Then we have Caroline Ankuvi, my mother. So David Frimpong is saying that the mother is Caroline Ankuvi. So Caroline Ankuvi, wherever you are, your grandson, your child, your son David Frimpong is praying to you. We pour libation to all of you, the ancestors, and may you hear their prayers. Then we have Godfred Esteling. Blessed are the ancestors. Thank you very much, Godfrey. We are very grateful that you join us this afternoon. Then we have a full Sewonu. How much is the warrior dress? Please, I am not selling warrior dress. I'm very sorry. I'm very, very, very sorry. I'm not selling warrior dress. Thank you. And then we have Shamba Musa Mohammed saying greetings, Papa. Greetings, Shamba. How are you? Thank you very much for joining us. We are very grateful. And I hope your mother and everybody is fine. We have Hades Yugin. What's going on, Baba? I have come to find out upon my spiritual journey that darkness is greater than light. Light comes from darkness. In Ewe Vodu, what role does physical darkness play in developing spiritual gifts and sight? What is its significance culturally? Thanks, Baba. Yugin, I'm very sorry. I cannot answer that question right away because I am reading greetings. And of course, darkness is said to be older than light in the sense that God was a dark force and is still a dark force. In his dark force or in his darkness, he was able to create the world according to the religious people. And of course, he was in his dark force or in his darkness when he commanded light should come. So definitely darkness is older than light. So thank you very much for that question. And the significance in Ewe or Ewe Vodu is just as I have just said, darkness is older than light. But darkness harbors a lot of secrets that we as humans, we cannot comprehend all. Then we have Laurent Mlapa. Greetings, Toby. Greetings to you, Laura. Thank you very much for joining. And then we have Alfred Abeku Bini. Papa, how are you all? Oh, we are all fine, Alfred. Thank you very much for joining the section. May the ancestors be with all of you for joining this section. And please prepare very interesting questions and send to us. And let me see if the ancestors will help me to answer your question to your satisfaction. Thank you very much. And then on YouTube, we have a Tobe Jigbezasa. So, greetings and good day, Papa. Bokor Enuledo. Yes, Bokor Tobe Jigbeza Enuledo. Now, we are saluting you. And could you please explain what things you look for or do once you have identified a spirit has come to work with you? Okay, Tommy Jigbeza, if you identify a spirit to work with you, the spirit has to show itself that it's coming to work with you, and you have to ask the spirit if it is a real spirit. It should show you some signs by giving it a task, and if the spirit is able to accomplish those tasks, then you know it's a real spirit. Then that's it. You can now ask the spirit what to do and how to follow its way so that you can work with them. Then we have a topic design. What are some ways you identify talking heads? Are some indicators sent when they bloom, when they grow? No, in our Ewe traditional spirituality, they are already known. It is not that the head is just a talking head. They are already known and they are taught to us. So we know which ones are talking heads. It's not now that the head is going to tell you I'm a talking head or no. Heads who are not called talking heads do also communicate. When we say talking heads, there are certain herbs only which when you put it in a Vodou, it makes the Vodou to be more like communicating with you. But then almost every herb can communicate. But then the ones that you can identify, or our ancestors have identified already, and we are using, those are the ones that we use, especially when we are preparing cowries and also preparing the divination chain, so that the chain can talk or can communicate with the spirit as well as communicate with the physical human being. So that's why we call those herbs talking herbs. But other than that, every herb, every tree, every plant can communicate with you if your reception, how to receive the information, the waves and the psychic waves, if you can, your receptive abilities are very pure. You can communicate with everything, even with stones, everything. You can communicate with everything. Thank you very much. Then I have our brother SB here, Stephen Bicham. Hello, Bokor Christopher and AMT family. My pastor said the spirits visiting me were dangerous and I should send them away. When I told them to go, they were like confused and had children. What spirits are coming to you? I cannot tell, SB, unless of course you tell me what spirit, because I don't know what spirits are coming to you whereby your pastor can know that they are bad spirits, and you who they are coming to you didn't know they were bad spirits. So I cannot really talk on that very much, because I don't know what spirits you are dealing with and what is good and what is bad. And how come your pastor will be able to see the spirits that are coming to you, and you yourself that the spirits were coming to, you could not see or know whether they were bad or good spirit. So you have to elaborate on that, and then probably I can also tell you something more. Then we have SB again. In Ewe Vodu, what options are available for dealing with uninvited spirits or ancestors? When you don't invite a spirit, most of the time they don't come. But then there are some spirits that they may be passing by, and your spirits that you are dealing with will invite them to come and join them. And when your spirits invite them to come and join them, you realize that the food that you give them may not become enough, because you made a provision. Hey. You made a provision for only your spirit, but then now they have got guests and all these things, so the food may not be enough. And if you are not very having a clear vision or clear audience ability, you may not know. What happens is that maybe after feeding your spirits, some animals that you have not decided to kill them will start to die on their own. And when I did readings on those, I was told that my spirits had some strangers and they had to kill some animal on their own in order to feed their friends. So you must know what you are working with. It is spirit work is an individual thing. You must know what you are working with. And since I don't know what you are working with, I cannot really talk on that. So please, SB, if you let us know what you are working with, and maybe through a reading, we'll be able to know why and what they demand from you. So each and everybody has their own way to deal with spirits. And unfortunately, spiritual work is not a group work. It's an individual affair. So the spirit that I have may not be the same spirit that everybody has. The people who are not very smart, they think that It is one spirit that is in the world, and once somebody has it, then you too, you are having it. I'm bringing this up because there is one guy who has been bothering us the whole of last weekend, talking about Tobe Jopata. And he started ranting on this thing that Senna even doesn't know how to pronounce the word. It's supposed to be called Tobe Jopata. And he started insulting and saying all kind of things. I'm very sorry. The spirit Tobe Jopata, you cannot find it in many places. So a lot of people do not know what it is. But I have Tobe Jopata, and I have empowered it to a point that it can work outside of my shrine, across oceans and everywhere. And even though you may not be with me here, but if you continue, if you have Jopata, you have been initiated it, or you have swallowed its seed, wherever you are, you see it's working. And sometimes even you may be far away, that it can still vibrate you, just like how it will vibrate you in the shrine here. So somebody who doesn't know what Jopata is and is trying to talk about what Jopata is, I'm not going to say the person is a stupid person, but the person does not know anything, but he wants to prove to people that he knows. The truth about Jopata is that you can only find Jopata, the original Jopata, at my shrine, because I am the one who put things together, and I know the herbs that form Jopata. Jopata is not just any spirit that you can make and just call it Jopata and then it is Jopata. It is the herbs and the process of setting up that Vodo that makes it called Jopata. And I had told you people at one time that I had invoked Jopata, and Jopata came and gave me the incantation, and I wrote it down. And this is the incantations I'm giving to you people. So if I don't give you Jopata as a spirit to handle, you cannot have the original Jopata. But of course, anybody can have anything and call it Jopata. It's okay, we will give that respect to such spirit, because it's also a spirit, so long as it's a... But the Jopata at African Magic Temple is the original Jopata, because we did not just get it just somewhere, and this it is a whole lot of history that I had said before, how Jopata came to become a spirit with us. So when somebody doesn't know the name Jopata and is calling it Jakpata, it is not called Jakpata. Jakpata is a snake. Ours is Jopata, a spirit of sudden happenings, and it is originating from African Magic Temple. If you see Jopata anywhere and it does not come from African Magic Temple, then it is not complete yet. I'm very sorry to say so, but that's the truth. Thank you very much for that. Okay, let's go to other places. And people on Clubhouse, please. Do you have any question for me? I'm saying hello to all of you on Clubhouse.
Hello, Papa.
Yes, Senna.
Thank you. Yes, so since you were talking about Jopata, I wanted to ask you, any stories that you know about what Jopata has done historically, or where it comes from, or what you know about it?
Senna, I would not say so much about that, because there's so many people having ears who are looking for these things to use to add to what they have or what they are creating. In the sense that once I start sharing the real story of Jopata, somebody will copy that same story and say this is what it is. But maybe that Jopata did not come from my shrine. So there are certain things I don't want to share anymore, because when people start to insult you and they don't even know what you are doing, and they want to finalize it just because they have an idea, say that their grandmothers can even kill a chicken without even touching it, which is okay. Are you your grandmother? And can you also kill a chicken without touching it? Why attack somebody who is doing something you cannot do, and just out of enviness and jealousy, you begin to attack the person you don't know from anywhere, and you start to attack them just because you feel jealous. That's why I posted that goat and meal story on the Facebook, that there are certain people who do not want you to eat. And the bowl in which you are eating, they will go and eat from it and later kick your bowl out of your hands so that you don't eat from that bowl, so that they can have their bowls and be eating. Such people are very, very, very ungrateful people. So the story of Jopata, if I initiate people into the spirit of Jopata, I'll tell them the story of Jopata. I'm sorry to say so.
Thank you very much, Papa. I think that makes a lot of sense. So then on that topic then, for some of them who have not been following our evolution post or are hearing, what is Jopata at African Magic Temple?
Jopata is one of the patron spirits of the African Magic Temple, in the sense that every shrine has their own patron spirit, or spirit that they really put their trust in, and a spirit that has worked with them for many years, and they can trust in that whenever they implore the services of this particular energy, it will be able to deliver. So at our African Magic Temple, we have three major energies that we are dealing with. One is Abraxas, which is from the not Judeo-Christian, but I would just say Jewish or Judaism or Kabbalah, Abraxas. It's a 7-letter word, and it's said to be the consciousness of the Christ. I'm not talking about Jesus Christ of Nazareth, but I'm talking about the Christ consciousness which is pervading through all universe. And that is the Abraxas energy. And I learned Abraxas through Kabbalah, and I still apply and employ the services of Abraxas and to open many doors for people's consciousness to be awakened. It has nothing to do with Jesus Christ of Nazareth, because Jesus was born Emmanuel or whatever, and then later at a certain age, when he attained that status, they started calling him Jesus the Christ. And as time went by, the name the THE that was following his name, Jesus the Christ, was kind of dissolved, and he became Jesus Christ, as everybody is calling it today. Because if you can also remember, Jesus said something that when Abraham was, I was. It's in the Bible. And people were getting angry with him at a very young age. When Abraham was, I was. What does that mean? Because there was a Christ at the time of Abraham, which a lot of people call Melchizedek, as in American English, and we in Africa, we call it Melchizedek. So this Christ was there during the time of Abraham. He was without father, without mother, and was someone who was very, that consciousness has dawned on the person. And if you come to the word Christ, where does it come from? I think it's coming from a Greek mythology, or from Greek. It's a Greek word which means someone who is enlightened, someone who has been what do you call it? Not anointed. I don't want to use that word anointed, but someone who is enlightened, somebody whose view on spirituality and universe and creation and everything becomes very clear, so that the person can see beyond religion, beyond culture, beyond race. That is what Christ is all about. If you go on the way into the Hinduism, you will see that Krishna is also a Christ. So that is, and when you go up to the Buddhist concept of understanding of spirituality, Buddha, which was the word coming from Bodhi and Dharma, which Bodhi means intellect, and then Dharma is like truth, or the essence of something. So Buddha became, Bodhi and Dharma became Buddha. And that concept is what the Christ consciousness was also dawned on Gautama Sakyamuni, which is a true Muni or true saint, and he became a Buddha. So the word Christ, as it is, people of little faith, I would say, with little minds, think that it only related to Christianity. Yes, of course, people who decided to form a religion after Jesus Christ died many years, 600 years afterwards. They formed this religion from the Europeans group of people formed this, and Romans formed this, and they started saying they were Christians, people who follow Christ. So long before Jesus himself was nothing called Christian. He never called himself a Christian because at his time there was nothing called Christianity. Jesus was a Jew, and if he ever existed, he was a Jew. He was not a Christian. And what kind of God was Jesus praying to if he wasn't a Christian? So now that today we have Christianity, people are talking about I am a Christian, and then they look at every other spiritual practice as a negative thing. The truth about it is that Jesus did not practice even Judaism alone. He practiced many things that he put together, and then according to history or people saying that he has attained the Christ consciousness and he became Jesus the Christ. So Jokpata, Abraxas is from that concept of the Christ consciousness, and I'm saying it again, it has nothing to do with Jesus of Nazareth or the biblical Jesus as people may refer to him. Then the third force is the Togbe Jokpata. The Togbe Jokpata is a spirit of sudden happenings, but then Jokpata also is a spirit that does not make peace. It's not a peaceful spirit. Jokpata is not a peaceful spirit. So when you come and you face it, it will face you. And in the Kabbalah, he is represented by the archangel Kamiel, he who wages war to end war. And that's what Jokpata is. So at our shrine, Togbe Jokpata is one of the pillars of African Magic Temple. That's why when we are initiating people in African Magic Temple, we initiate you into Akain, we initiate you into Abraxas, and then we initiate you into Togbe Jokpata. And then that is what we call AMT initiation. You've got all these three energies, and we know once you get these three energies, your psychic abilities, your communication with the spiritual world and the physical world become much easier with you. Thank you very much, Senna.
Thank you, Papa. Thank you, Papa.
You're welcome.
If there's anybody else on Clubhouse who would like to ask any question to Papa or any follow-ups, please go ahead. It's a very interesting conversation with Papa, describing some of the initiations and some of the work and the spirits that we work with at African Magic Temple.
Okay, more so, when you go onto the internet and you are looking for Jokpata, you are not going to find Jokpata anywhere. And wherever you find Jokpata on the internet, then you know it has to refer to our African Magic Temple. Wherever you may find Jokpata's work over the years, that it's working for people long from 2014, 2015, that it has been working for people. When you go anywhere and you see the name Jokpata on the internet, then it must be referring to African Magic Temple. But if you see it anywhere and it is not directly referring to African Magic Temple as the source from where they get the Jokpata, then there is something that is not complete.
Papa, I have a question that some people have asked before in the past of how you work with Abraxas, which is coming from this Kabbalah background, and then kind of mixing it with Vodo, right? Because sometimes some people have this perception like these spirits or these traditions, they're completely separate and there's no overlap, and that Vodou's work only with Vodo divining methods or Vodo spiritual methods, and the Kabbalistic angels and those things, they could not really interfere with Vodo, or that's the perception. And so I would like you to, if possible, just share some of your own personal experiences working with these kind of two practices from different traditions, but you've been able to make them work together in a Vodo way at African Magic Temple. I don't know if you're understanding what I'm saying.
I do understand what you are saying. I did understand what you are saying. The truth about it, that what is Voodoo? What is Voodoo? This is what I have always been saying. What is Voodoo? Voodoo simply means spirit or energy that works with a community. So I said many times, if I am coming, I went to India and I got some, let's say I pick up Durga from India, or Madam Kali from India, or let's say Lord Shiva from India, and I bring it to Africa and I keep it in my shrine and I start working with it. How will I call it? I will say this Voodoo is India Voodoo. I hope you are getting my point.
Yes, Papa.
So if I go to China and then I get the I Ching, which a lot of Westerners call I Ching. If I get the I Ching and I bring the I Ching and I am working with I Ching, and people ask me, why did you get this? What kind of Voodoo is this one? I'll tell them this kind of reading or divination, the I Ching divination is coming from China, so it is China Voodoo. So it will be if I go to any part of the world. Just for instance, I go to Arab countries and I pick a spirit called Small Boy Danger, which I have worked with before. It's an Arabic spirit, and it's called Small Boy Danger. When people ask me what kind of Voodoo or spirit is this one, I'll tell you that it's Arabic spirit, because that is the domain. That's where it came from. God has created the world, or nature has created the world, that every culture has spirituality, no matter where the people are. They have their own way of relating to nature and to God in their own environment. So when you are an outsider and you are coming to pick information from them, you will learn their language and you will understand the kind of energy they are working with. And if you are interested in picking it, they will tell you how to work with that energy, which names to call that energy. And then when you bring it to your place, you use those names to invoke that energy and let it work with you. But the spirit world is just one world. It is human beings that are separating and saying this is a white, this is black, this one is green, this one is yellow. But the spirit world is just a vast ocean of wisdom and knowledge. And when you are able to tap into it, any spirit anywhere from any part of the universe, even the planet Earth, can work with you if you are really a good spiritualist. You have no problem. That's why we tell people that when we initiate you into Abraxas energy, or we initiate you into Jokpata or Akai, whenever you go to any part of the world and you enter into any spiritual place, spirits over there will be able to communicate with you, because they will see that you have been initiated and you have the ability to listen and communicate back to them. So working with Abraxas, even though Abraxas may be coming from a Judeo-Christian or Judaism or from Kabbalah, does not make it not Voodoo. Voodoo means spirit. So they have the name in what do you call it? In English or in the Hebrew, they call it Abraxas. And what name do the Eves call it? We call it Tadreto. Tadreto means the one who has 7 heads, the spirit that has 7 heads. We will call it a Tadreto. So if you listen to me very carefully, after I repeat the words of Abraxas, I will say that Tadreto, just you will see that I repeat the Ewe incantation of the Abraxas as well. That's what I say, that Abraxas is a 7-letter word. Even though it is coming from Judaism and Kabbalah background, it does not make it not to be a Voodoo. So people of our culture shouldn't think that only Eves are the 4 people who have what they call Voodoo. Voodoo is everywhere in the world. I have said it many times without number, that Voodoo is everywhere. People will call it in their own language any name. Take for instance, the Yorubas are calling spirits that they work with Orisha. And Orisha, if we want to translate it into our Ewe language, it is Vodu. Because they are spirits. So everywhere in the world has God's spirits. And if you are a clever and wise spiritualist, you will be able to deal with all spirits and you will treat them as one. And all spirits will deal with you and treat you the same way, knowing that you are very open and neutral, in the sense that there is no Voodoo that you say it is only limited to a particular culture. Okay, let's say Voodoo Da. Okay, the Voodoo Da, as it is called in Evae, I think that same Voodoo Da is called in another language, like say people call it the Kundalini, or the serpent, divine serpent spirit, which is called in Hinduism Kula Kundalini in Sanskrit. And I believe that that same spirit, if we go into the other cultures, whether African or European or Asian cultures, there will be a name for a serpent spirit in their own language. But it is a universal energy, so it does not matter whether it is in Africa or it is outside Africa. It is energy, and you can always tap into it when you are able to go into that spiritual psychic plane. So you will be able to tap into it no matter where you are or who you are, if only you know the secret of going into the psychic plane. You will be able to tap into those energies anywhere. So these spirits, like I was talking about Jokpata in Kabbalah is called Archangel Kamiel. And then I have the spirit Alajadu, which is the divine mother. You may call it the divine mother in a way. And it is called in Greek mythology Frida. It's called in Greek mythology Frida. And then if you go into Arabic, it will be Yasmin. And then when you go into Hinduism, become the goddess Jasmine. But then in my local language, it's called Allah Jadu. And because I am an Ewe and I am from Africa, the way I will feed it and the way I will treat it, the way I will do it according to our culture, so that because it is working within that culture. But then if you are in India, there may be a way to treat it differently. If you are in an Arabic land, that same spirit is called Archangel Anael, A-N-A-E-L, in Kabbalah. It's Archangel Anael. These spirits have nothing to do with Christianity. They have been there long before Christianity was, even before Jesus Christ was born. So when you are dealing with these spirits, does not mean that you are a Christian or you are following Christianity. Far from it. The truth about it is that there is no religion that was not made by man. But all spirits exist before man was created. So you can deal with all these energies when you know how to deal with them. So you don't have to kind of discriminate or separate them, that this are because it is a Voodoo, and then how can you work with another spirit if it's not Voodoo? Voodoo is only every word for spirit. When you even go to a lot of our people who call themselves Mamisi, or people who are dealing with Mamiwata, they are also talking that they are dealing with Voodoo, but they draw all their Voodoos in the form of Indian goddesses. That's why I don't deal with Mamiwata, because I don't understand why, if it is Mamiwata, why doesn't the Mamiwata have every name? Meanwhile, we are calling it Voodoo. So if my understanding would be that it's a foreign energy that our people are dealing with, that's why it probably has a foreign name. But I don't go to those ways because I don't understand. That's why I don't deal in Mamiwata things. That doesn't mean that Mamiwatas do not exist. They do exist, but the way our people practice it I don't see. I don't get understanding of it. That's why I don't go into it. What I don't understand, I don't deal with that. That's how my life is. That's how I practice my spirituality. And that's why when people come to our shrine, they begin to wonder what kind of Voodoo you have, because you will not see us mounting any Voodoo at the shrine. The only thing you may see is Apeli and then Legba at the gate. Other than that, you are passing through my shrine, you don't see any Voodoo being mounted. But that doesn't mean Voodoos are not here working. They are all here, but they are working, but you don't see them. And when we call upon them, they will mount you, they will begin to possess you. So that's the kind of spirituality I am practicing. I'm practicing a modern type of spirituality that includes everything from everywhere that works. Thank you. I think, Senna, you got my point.
Yes, Papa. Thank you very much.
Does it make sense? Does it make sense?
Point too.
Does it make sense to you?
Sense. Yes, it makes sense that we shouldn't be discriminating and saying that we will only work with certain group of spirits, or if you really want to learn and really interact with spirits, you should be tapping into many forms of spiritual practice that works for you. And that
is where the initiation in our shrine comes in, because we are not only initiating you into Vodou. We are not only initiating you into Vodou Ade. We are not initiating you into only one particular Vodou, but we are initiating you to break into the psychic plane where you can have a universal universality, whereby you can function in every culture, everywhere in the world, that spirits that are real can come and work with you. So once you are initiated, I believe those of us who have been initiated at our African Magic Temple will testify that they can command and control and can invoke spirits to come to them at will, and also dismiss them to go at will. That is the experience that you have when you are initiated in African Magic Temple. We are not competing with anybody, and we are not challenging anybody, because I and my shrine, we have brought in a new way of spirituality that is very active, very practical, and very workable. It is far from that fear-mongering way of Voodoo to put fear into you that, oh, if you go near this Voodoo, it will destroy your this thing. If you do here, Voodoo will destroy your camera. No, my Voodoos, they are always in front of cameras. They are always, people can come and take picture. They will not destroy or anything. But these same very Voodoos are very powerful ones. So when I meet people and say, oh, hey, the Voodoo, they cannot take picture of it. No, those are tricks. It's not real. Why should Voodoo say they don't want to take picture of them? What will you do with the picture? That the Voodoo say, I'll spoil your camera, I'll spoil your phone, I'll spoil your machine because you are recording. Because people who are doing this, most of them, people are doing tricks, and they don't want to be recorded, so that tomorrow you will play back to them that you caught their tricks. That's why they will tell you that, no, don't do this, hey, don't touch that, don't do that. That is the truth. People who are calling what they call agay, people who are calling all kind of things in the corner of the room, and you hear things speaking, and the priest will be translating it to you. Most of these people are all tricksters. That's why when you want to record them, they will get angry with you. Don't record us. We at African Magic Temple, when we are doing anything for you, we will ask you to record them so that you can remember them tomorrow, so in case you forget anything that you did not understand. When you listen over and over again, you'll be able to ask us what it is. So that is how spirituality, real spirituality is. Our people have put too many tricks into spirituality, not only in Africa, but all over the world. And they don't want to have records of whatever they are doing, because it will be played back to them tomorrow for evidence. So they will tell you, don't record. My shrine is not like that. I had even had a dwarf spirit that I had dealt with not like the African way, from Roko. There's a mountain in Kobe called Mount Roko. And I had a dwarf that came from there so many years ago, when long before I even set up the shrine, that his name was Roko. And he was telling us the incantation was something about Amanitrasu, whatever. That time I have not even gone to Japan, and I didn't know what Amanitrasu and all these things were. But then we were hearing all these names, and I have written notes of all these things. Yet still, later when I went to Japan and I was doing my research, I found out that Ryoko was a mountain in Kobe, and Amanitrasu or Amanitrasu, whatever it is the way the Japanese god or god in Japan was called or whatever. So these things are there. If you are a very clean-hearted person and you are not trying to cheat people and dodge people and play tricks on them, the world and spirits of the world.
I have a question. I have to stop you there. Papa, this Roko spirit, right?
Yeah.
Is you were following him through what, Kabbalistic invocation?
Yes.
Or
through Kabbalistic invocations.
Wow.
So these things, I have notes. They are still there. You can watch. You can read. So I have dealt with spirits from everywhere, even long before I have set up my shrine. So please, the spirit world is open. If you are able to get a proper initiation and you get into that field, you will be able to experience all spirits from everywhere. So Voodoo is not limited to African or black people's spirit. If you go to America, among the Native Americans that Christopher Columbus made a mistake and called them Red Indians because he was lost. He thought he was in India, and then he called them Red Indians. They also practice Voodoo. They call upon nature spirits and spirits of their ancestors and all this, and it works for them. So if I should go there today and get a spirit from there, and that spirit I brought it to my shrine, I will tell people that this spirit is from American Native Indians or Native Americans who gave me this spirit. So I will learn the incantation, how they call their Voodoo, and then I'll try to find the Ewe equivalency to translate it for my people to understand. So there's so much in the spiritual world, and a lot of people think that when your shrine is very big and you mount a big Voodoo, that means you are a real spiritualist. People know things that I did not know, and I am always learning from people who know what I don't know, so that I can add that knowledge to whatever I have.
Thank you, Papa.
You're welcome.
Does anybody here have a question for Papa, or anybody in the audience who would like to make a comment? Papa is dropping some very deep knowledge and some very interesting personal experiences, so I think it would be a good time to ask. But Papa, on your topic, even recently you shared something about the Queen of England, it's like a mirror in Latin America.
Yes, so the Queen of, I think Queen Elizabeth, the first, not the second, who had also used mirrors or people who were good in divination to rule the kingdom and rule the world. So it's now that it is coming. It was a BBC this thing, so it is not even like me. It is from BBC who they are bringing these facts out. The good thing about it is your reception. How can you receive information from the psychic plane and translate that information to human beings to understand and make use of it for their benefit? But it's not everybody who is given that gift to be able to receive information. And if you are not given the gift of receiving information, you will have to put tricks in it to make people to think that spirits are talking to you. Okay, I'm going on to Facebook again to acknowledge the greetings of Jamfi Florence, our sister, big sister Florence Jamfi. Say good afternoon, family. Good afternoon, Auntie Florence. How are you and the family? We are very grateful that you join us. And then we have Zoglozo Mabi Atitat Wimapua Yao. Togbe, how are you doing? Oh, Togbe Zoglozo Mabi. We are doing very well, and thank you very much for joining us. And then we have our sister Oluchi. Move the cursor. We have our big sister in Paris, saying in France, saying Oluchi Osuwoke, saying great day, Papa, with peace and love. Thank you very much, big sister. Peace and love to you too and the whole family. Then we have King Ayewubo Awukukbojo. Greetings, AMT. Greetings, Papa and family. Thank you very much, Doc. Thank you very much, and we'll be seeing you soon. Thank you very much, hopefully. Then we have Hedis Yungin saying, what is different between magic and magic, Baba? There's a very big difference between the words magic and magic, even though the pronunciation looks or sounds the same. The word magic, which is M-A-G-I-C-K, which is the word we use for our African magic temple, it deals with spirituality and spirits. It is dealing with the abstract entities, or things that, invisible entities that we call Vodo or spirit. But the word M-A-G-I-C without the K is magic, which is more of entertainment magic, entertainment to pretend to be God, pretending to be God, to create from empty air and all these things. And this is paid mainly for entertainment purposes. But a lot of people in Africa do not know the difference between magic and magic. That's why whenever anybody is doing any entertainment, people begin to think that the person has a spiritual power. And in our Evae land, we call it Amlima Chichi. Amlima. If you have ever heard that word before, it's Amlima. So means it is, you are trying to do things that are beyond human understanding. Then a lot of time people attribute spiritual power to it. But at our shrine, the word magic that ends with K has spiritual connotations and understanding. And the word magic that has only the C at the ending is mainly for entertainment, which has to do with illusion. Has to do with illusion. So that's the meaning, that's the difference between magic and magic. So next time when you go into your dictionary or Google, try to type these words, magic, and you find the real meaning. A lot of people don't know the meaning and don't even understand when you write it. They think it's the same thing. It is not. The white man who brought this word, or they are spelling out like this, was not stupid. They were clever enough to know when it is some end in K, some only end in C. They have their translation and meaning of it. When you look it up in your dictionary or on your Google, you will find it. Thank you very much. Then we have Daniel Vic, called Evans Mfojo. I don't know what that means, but maybe he's referring to somebody. And then we have a sad boy Kofi. Told me, please, I need protection. Which herbs I will use? I don't know. I don't teach people online which herbs to use or which one I have to use. If you want to, you need protection, consult a shrine and let them teach you the proper thing. You people are just thinking that what we do here, it is just that we are telling people go and do this. When you don't know how to use knife, it will cut you. So get the proper person who will teach you what protection, what kind of herbs you will use for protection. I don't just write and tell you that go and use this word, use that word for protection. I won't teach you that. I'm very serious. Yes, let's go on. We have Hades Yugin again down, saying hope question is not too personal, but I was wondering if your wife also practiced Ewe Vodu. If not, what spirituality does she practice? My wife is a Japanese, and she practices what the Japanese practice, which is their own ancestral way of worshipping. They practice Shinto and they practice Buddhism. But the way the Japanese practice their spirituality is not far from the way we practice Voodoo. So my wife perfectly fit into my practices. She also pour libation for ancestors. And when my children go to Japan, they go to their ancestral shrines and graves to pour libation. They also cook food for their ancestors. They do things, they fetch water for their ancestors to drink. They pour alcoholic libation for their ancestors, just like we, the Eves, do. So my wife, even though she is a Japanese woman, she fit perfectly into this because our practice is not very far from their own. They believe in nature, they use herbs, and they do all things with herbs. So the Japanese are just like us. So maybe that's why it was easy for both of us to associate. Thank you very much. Hedis Yugin. Then we have Alfred Abeku Bini. Papa, please, how can I be initiated? If you want to be initiated, first and foremost thing is to do a consultation and find out about your own spiritual development and what kind of spirits that you will be associated with that can benefit you. Then through that, then the process of initiation will be explained to you, and the things that you need to be, things that are needed to be used for initiation will be told to you. Initiation cannot be done online. If you ask for protection, I can send you a bangle, and then I can empower the seeds for you to swallow so that the spirit can be with you. But if you come to the shrine, we will do the full initiation by introducing you to the spirits themselves, and also you and the spirit sharing a drink or drinking from one cup, which will finalize the initiation. So thank you. Then we have Joe N. Black. Joe Black, what is Mimove Nwara? What is the difference between the genes and Voodoo? Gene is not every word. So you should understand that gene is an Arabic word for spirit. And Voodoo is every word for spirit. Simple as that. Then we have Kojo Homenyo. Papa, what about the stool we worship? The stool we worship and pay homage to is the meeting place of all the ancestors on your DNA line, either on the paternal or maternal side. The stool represents your ancestors. So when you go to the stool room, you listen very carefully that when they are praying, they will call the stool's name, then they will call all the ancestors on your DNA line and pray to them that you or this and that person is here to pray to them or pour libation. So the stool in our Ewe setup represent all the ancestors on your bloodline, whether on your maternal or on your paternal side. It refers that's why you call them. So the stool represents them. That's why the chief that is on the stool is now like the representative of the ancestors. So when the chief sits on that stool, he represents all the ancestors, and the chief has power to pray for you and tell your ancestors what you, the citizens, demand from them or asking them to do. Yeah. So that is what it is called Yohumenyo. That is what it is. Then we have Sakidu Legion. Greetings, Toby. I trust you and the entire MT team are doing great. It was great seeing you and your team display marvelously at Chame. Thank you very much, Sakidu Legion. We are very grateful to you for all the coverage and everything. We are very grateful. Then we have Ortega. We have Ortega Evaro. How do you call for dwarves? There are so many ways of calling for dwarves. They have their own incantations and invocations if you want them. But then I don't teach these things online and then tell you how you call dwarves. You need to have somebody practical. How you call spirits is the same way you call dwarves. And you have to be with someone who knows the way, someone who knows what to do, so that you can learn from that person. You don't go learning from books or from hearsay and start doing things on your own. You may end up destroying yourself. So please, those kind of questions, I don't know how to answer them, but people call dwarves, and there are methods and ways of calling dwarves. Thank you. But I'm not talking about these dwarves that people are pretending to be dwarves and hiding in a room and hiding inside curtains and pretending to be dwarves. Those are human beings. These are all tricks and scamming methods that some people have developed for over many years are using it to cheat people. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about real spiritual practices of invoking spirits. Let's go up small. Let me see after that dwarf question. Yeah. So I have a Luna. I'm going to read that one now. Okay. I have a Luna Afro Funkwear Faye. When can I come in for a reading? Anytime you want. We are always there to do a reading for people. So it is not like when can you come. It is up to you. You decide that you want to do a reading. You contact us. We will tell you what things we would need, and then we'll do a reading for you. So you can now come anytime. And then we have a hidden yogin again. In Hindu culture, there is the deity Ganesh. Yes, who will be Ganesh correspondent in Ewe Vodu? I don't know yet. I'm not dealing with Ganesh, and I am not dealing with any spirit that is a correspondent of Ganesh. But then if I get there and I'm able to know what Ewe correspondence of a Ganesh Voodoo is, I will let you know. But I'm not there yet. I'm not been dealing with Ganesh, the elephant head god Ganesha. No, I'm not dealing with Ganesha, so I cannot tell what its correspondence in Ewe Vodu yet. I deal with things that I know, and when I teach about things that I have personal experiences with. I don't just go teaching what I don't know. That's the difference of my shrine. I don't go just talking about what I don't know. Whatever I had experienced myself and I have authority and control over it, that's what I teach. I'm not the one, I don't know about all the Ewe Vodus in existence. So I can't tell which Voodoo is Ganesha. The reason why I was making references to Kula Kundalini is because in Hinduism, Kundalini, which is at the base of the human spine, where the Muladhara chakra is said to be the divine serpent, or the divine serpent spirit. That's why when I'm talking about Vodu Da, as a Da is a snake in our language. The word Da means snake. So when I am talking about Vodu Da, that's why I am making the correspondence and the equivalence of in every culture there is a snake divinity, and in the Hindu culture there is a Kula Kundalini, but then I know there is other snake serpent spirits in Hinduism. There is a seven-headed spirit of the snake in Hinduism, and all other things. So any of them could be called the Vodu Da, because so long as it's the spirit of snake, it can be called Vodu Da in Ewe, or the serpent spirit in any other language. So that's what I was trying to draw the correspondence between them. But that doesn't mean I know all about every Ewe Voodoo, and I know all about every Hindu what they call gods and goddesses. Then we have Daniel Vick again here saying, come down. Daniel Vick saying, please, what's the difference between Voodoo and Ewe? I am not very sure, Daniel, but I think the Vodus are the Ewe. They may be the same old word called Ewe, and then inside the Ewe we have got the Vodu Da, So Ewe is more like a society of spirit, like a spiritual group or spiritual cult, if you may say. And then inside the Ewe, we have Vodu Hebiasu, we have Vodu Da, we have all kind of Vodus. I am not a Ewe initiate, so I don't know so much about the Ewe. But inside the Vodu Ewe, I know there is Vodu Da. I also know that there is the Vodu Hebiasu or Eso Vodu inside this thing. They have all other kind of Vodus inside Ewe. So Vodu and Ewe, I'm not sure what it is, but Ewe seems to be the group, and the entities of energies they deal with are called Vodu. Because sometimes even I have a Vodu where I just mentioned its name, Tobe Glindo, which is incantation will say, Ewe, don't worry me. So it's a Vodu, but they will mention it as Ewe. So I don't know very much about Ewe Court. I'm not a member. I am not planning to be a member soon. If I will ever be a member, I don't know. But I think Vodu and Ewe are almost synonymous things. Yes. Are we done with that? Go up and let's see. Okay, we have Collins D. Savage. Togbe, please, where are you located? Collins, we are located on the Spintex Road. I think we have put our numbers and everything up there. When you contact, you will be able to get the proper direction. And then we don't just let people just walk in. So that's why we ask people to set up an appointment with us before walking in, because it is not always that I am at the shrine. I come to the shrine when I know there's something to do, especially if I'm coming to pray or I'm coming to do a work for someone. Of course, sometimes I stay in the shrine, and then if I am there too, I am here. That's what it is. So if you don't have an appointment, you may come here and you may not see me. Could be one whole day, 2 days, you may not see me. So I'm even talking now, for the past 3 days, I have not been at the shrine here. I was outside, and I just came back last night, and I am here today. So Collins, you look at our Revolution Voodoo Education, African Magic Temple, you will see our numbers and contact numbers. Even the Google map will direct you to the shrine. If you type in African Magic Temple into Google Map, you will find our location. But even if you come and you have not set an appointment with me, I may not be available to see you. But then we are on the same test. Thank you very much. And the Tommy Sakidu Legion is saying you have always likened the Archangel, you have always likened the energy of Tobe Jopata to Archangel Samuel in Kabbalistic magic. Samuel is considered one of the most powerful entities. In fact, he is the only angel. He is the wait, let me see. Where is it? In fact, he is the only angel said to have 12 wings due to the amount of power he possesses. Some even said he is the hitman of God who is sent only on special missions. Is Tobe Jopata really that powerful as Samuel is being portrayed in ceremonial magic? Yes, of course, Sacred religion. We are not just teaching things what we don't know. Tobe Jopata is very powerful energy, and it is not me who just decided to call it that is the Archangel Camiel or it's Archangel Samuel as people may call it, but it is from research that we are trying to find the attributes of Jopata, what it can do, and then finding it in the Kabbalah, it is corresponding to Archangel Camiel. So Jopata is a very powerful spirit, but you should also know that Jopata has got a special herbs that made them, and how to create or to make a vessel for that energy to come and work with you. It is not just anything that you call Jopata will be Jopata. It has got a process. So if you are tapping into that Archangel Samiel or Archangel Camiel, as we call it here, you must know the vessel, what to create, just like you are using your phone, your telephone, mobile phone device to receive certain kind of information. I believe that when you have an iPhone, there are certain kind of information you can receive, whilst Android may not receive it. Of course, they are all phones, but then there is certain information that Android will receive, and maybe what do you call it? iPhone may not receive, and maybe there are some other phones that are above these ones. I'm not very sure. But at least if I'm using the analogy of the iPhone and Android phone, there are certain informations, or let's say what we call yam in Ghana, and then an Android phone. There are certain information that your Android phone can receive, which your yam or your simple phone, they are all phones, they can all receive calls, but the information that will be sent through them for you is totally different. Just like in a normal Android phone or iPhone, you can receive WhatsApp, but on your normal YAM phone, there is no WhatsApp. You cannot get WhatsApp. So this is what spirit is. If you are creating a spirit, you must know, or you are creating a vessel for a spirit to materialize or manifest itself. You must know what things the spirit do and doesn't do, what things the spirit like and what it doesn't like, and what time and what kind of herbs you will put together to be able to attract that particular energy to come and work with you. This is where the difference is. That's why I kept saying that Jopata, you can't find it anywhere if you don't find it in African Magic Temple. It is not a common spirit that everybody can just find. And a lot of people are misunderstanding the word Jopata to mean Jakpata. It's not Jakpata. Jakpata is a snake. Jopata is a totally different thing. It's an energy of sudden happenings. And there's so many things in Jopata that we are not even talking about yet. And I have dealt with Jopata for several years, and if I'm not lying, I've had Jopata, I've been dealing with Jopata for the past 30 plus years. And I know how, because I am back to Ghana now, almost 26 years. Yeah, maybe about 25 years I came back to Ghana now. And I had Jopata long before coming back to live in Ghana. So there are so many things about Jopata that I don't share with the public yet. But it has been a spirit with me for a very, very long time, and I know what it is. So its likeness to Archangel Samiel or Camiel, it is not by accident. Jopata is like that. Thank you, Sakidu. Okay, let's go. Joy Jijo, good day. Good day, Toby. I want to find out if Venovise is real and how important it is. What are the implications if you don't have it as a twin? Yeah, Venovise, as in Ewe Vodu or our culture, even people who were not really into Voodoo, when they have twins, as in our culture, there is that Venovise or the pot of the twins will be prepared for them so that they can, whatever came with them into this world in their destiny, that they came in the form of two instead of coming in one, can be realized and materialized. So this is the reason why our people create that called Venovise, and I believe very strongly that in the Yoruba, the Ibeji, or the twins, the spirit of the twins, also they have got some rituals and things that they do for twins so that the twins can materialize what they have brought into this world. So if you are born a twin and you don't do the twin rituals, sometimes things don't go the way they should go for you. So your fathers and your mothers your grandfathers, your ancestors should be able to teach you, or people who know about this thing should teach you. You don't have to be a Voodoo priest or Voodoo priestess or start getting initiated into any Voodoo to have a twin pot if you have a twin. So it is very important. So try to find people who can make that Venovise if you are a twin for you, so that you can keep, and then they'll teach you the incantation and how to pray to it, things to put into it, when to feed it, when to pour water into it, and you will see whether your life will not change. It will definitely not be the same. So Joy Jijo, that is the answer to your question. It is very important to have the twin pot with the Ewe called Venovise, because Venovis or the twins are regarded as special spiritual children. I think Caddy Fisher is here. Somebody come and do this for me so that I can know whether I am still here. I'm not seeing myself. Here. Kojo Homenyo say, Papa, what are the best time to pray and your location, please? The best time to pray is anytime. Anytime is the best time to pray. But if you want to make a habit of pouring libation or praying to your inner self and your ancestors, the best time to pray is when you have not spoken with anybody, any human being. Reason being that once you speak with people, you don't know whether what discussion you are going to have may turn into anger or disappointment or whatsoever. So when your mind is very fresh and very new in the day, that's the best time to pray. Because when you are angry before you pray, that anger will go into your feelings of anger will go into your prayer, and the how to achieve and receive the things that you want may be limited by your anger, because anger is also an energy, and it is an energy that actually destroys. So when you are angry and you are praying, it is not the best time, but any time is a good time to pray. But if you can, pray before you begin to communicate with the physical human world. Thank you. And then our location is on the Spinters Road, and when you type African Magic Temple into your Google map, you will find us. And then has anybody fed my birds? And then NSADK saying, good evening, Dad. Thank you very much for your teachings. Be blessed. I would like to know that before any person prays in the whole world, and whatever his race, must he be initiated? We find that sometimes people pray but do not get solutions. Okay, Kofi, move the thing. What are you doing? And sometimes people pray but do not get a solution. What can you tell us about that? Merci. Thank you. Thank you. While I bring the thing back, let me see the name of the person at the top. No. Yeah, NSADK. The reason why people pray and do not get results is because the energy or the spirit, or let's say the god or goddesses that you are praying to, if the goddess is not connected to you and you don't have the access to them, you are praying to them, they don't listen because they don't know you. But then it is not only people who are initiated that can pray. Anyone can pray. But the point you had already made it. Everybody can pray, but when you pray, do you get results or you get solutions to what you pray for or not? If you don't, then you need to be initiated or you need to be introduced to the spirit that you can pray to and you listen. That's why we say that when we initiate you into Abraxas, the hearer of prayer will be there whenever you want to pray, so that when you pray, when the person that is supposed to hear your prayer is there, when you pray, they will hear your prayer and they'll be able to give you answer. So that is what it is with prayer. So it is good that you must have some energy that you are connected to, so that when you pray to them, it will be easier for them to answer your prayer. Even to your ancestors, you can pray to your ancestors because automatically you are connected to them through a bloodline, through the DNA that is running in your body. So if you are able to know your ancestors' names, some of their names, and you pray to them and you tell them that, oh, it is me, this person from this generational line, from this father, from this mother who is praying to you. So that when you pray to them, they know that you are their child, you are their great-grandchild, and they will listen to you and they will answer you. But without you having any connection with somebody's ancestor, I'm not a Jew, I'm not from Israel, and then I start to pray to the God of Isaac, God of Solomon, that without having any connection with them whatsoever, than that the water that they pour on your head in the church, and that's it, or when they push you into a river in your village or anywhere. Meanwhile, that river is not even in Israel. And then you say that the river that in which they push you is a devilish river, yet still you were initiated or you were baptized in that river, and then you are now calling the God of Israel, where far away in Middle East, to come and save you. I'm sorry. These things are where we have lost our battle. The African has lost. We don't know what we are doing. Yes, go ahead. So, Ernest, what you do is pray to your ancestors by calling their names. And then we have Victor K. Abochukwi. Yes, hello, Victor. It's been a while. Sufis use chanting beads and formulas to invoke genes without mounting an altar for it. But the African way is usually associated with mounting clays with herbs. Do they yield the same results? It's not every African spirituality that has been mounted with clay and herbs. We spoke about Mbesa the other day here. Mbesa, you don't mount anything anywhere, and you don't use any herbs. Even if they will use herb, they will then use the herb the day they are initiating you, and that's it. You don't need to mount anything anywhere. But when you invoke the energy, it will appear and work for you. So, Victor, that's what it is. So it is the same. Because the Sufi that is is chanting this thing, do you know what he went through before chanting, invoking the names of the jinns? Because automatically that Sufi person must know the name of the jinn and the incantations that follow, how to draw that jinns near. So when they are doing what we call japa, counting of beads, and that means repeating the name of that particular jinn several times. Maybe it is said that that jinn, you must repeat its name 100 times or 180 times or 99 times before its effect will come. So when they are doing the beads, it's called japa in Sanskrit, or in Hinduism, japa. So you are, when they are counting that beads, they are just repeating that particular name just to make sure that the one roll of the beads, if it is 99, then when one roll is finished, when it gets to the string, then they know they have finished 199 name. Then they repeat it until they know the exact number that was supposed to be read or invoke the names of the jinn for the jinn to materialize. So the Ewe and the Vodu way is also similar to that, but we don't count beads in our discipline. We are not religious people. We are spiritual people. So what we will do is that we will use the Mbesa, which is the word of power. When you use it, either you use it and clap your hand, you use it and break your finger, or you use it and you stamp on your foot on the ground, or you use it and then you blow the air into the air. There are so many different ways to invoke a spirit, and whoever is teaching you must tell you which spirit should be invoked and how it should be invoked. So the Eves have the same thing. The Africans also have the same way. But we are not Sufis, and Sufis are not us. So we don't do japa. We don't repeat names. It's mostly in Asian religion that one name will be repeated several times in order to invoke the presence of an energy. But then in the case of Abraxas initiation, when I initiate people, I give the Abraxas this thing, and I ask the person to repeat their name Abraxas a certain number of times, and then because of the initiation, after repeating the name that number of time, and you wait, then the vibration will start coming upon you through your fingers, through your feet and your body, and then you encourage it to come, that you are ready to for it to come, so that you can say something or give your supplication or whatever to the spirit world. And then for sure the Abraxas will come and then be able to listen to your prayer. So it is the same, but in different ways. Thank you, Victor Abochikwi. Thank you very much. You're saying I'm never none. Then we have Francis Haya. In every language, Jokpata means an event or something should happen now, or quickly or instantly as you want it. That's why we say Jokpata is the spirit of sudden happenings. Anything that can happen suddenly or instantly. That's why we say that the word Jokpata, the spirit Jokpata, is a spirit of sudden happenings. Thank you very much, Francis Haya. Okay. Like it. And then we have a Hades Yogin again. You once made a distinction between you being a stage magician and practicing spirituality. Can you further speak on that? Is there any similarities you would say? Hades Yogin, if you see my recent journey to Chiame, to Bokor shrine, I went there and did entertainment magic. It is on the internet, and I think from my look this morning, we have gotten about how many? 1 million? 1 million, 1 million plus views already on that particular magic show that I did at Bokor Shrine. So I am a stage magician and a professional one for that. And I have performed in many countries around the world: Singapore, Malaysia, Philippines, India, just mentioning Japan, and, Canada, all other places. I have performed in many places. So I am a stage magician, but then I'm a spiritualist as well. And I don't mix my spiritual work with my entertainment magic. I don't use entertainment magic to fool people, to tell them that it's spirituality. That's why even when we were going to do this show at Chami, we wrote on it that nobody should mistakenly think that this is a spiritual power, but it is just for entertainment. That's what we are at African Magic Temple. We don't mess up and we don't mix things up. We are real and we do things really. Thank you. Thank you, Hades Yubi. So if you go onto my profile on the internet, you just type in Christopher Voncujovi, you will see all the magic shows that I have performed around the world and everywhere. Most of them are there, not everyone, but most of them are there. You can see my magical performances as well. Thank you very much. Then we have a Elikplim Kulio Sian, Kulo Si. What does Fukpa means after Bokor divination? Fukpa Angole, it's talking about Fu and Ngoli. There are two the Afar divinations. We have Afa Odus or Afadu, as Eves will call it. We have a Fu and we have Ngoli also in it. So when Fu and Ngoli come together, they become Fu Ngoli. But then to pronounce it, we say Fu Pangole. And Fu Pangole is talking about someone who has where sickness, poverty, and a hobby. Bad luck and everything is disturbing the person. So in a divination, when they give you Fupangle, they will tell you that you should make sure the people who are working with you or people who you are working with should be paid properly and they should be fed properly. Don't leave your workers down, and if otherwise, the same very workers that are working for you may stand against you. And it is also when you are a spiritualist or you have some spirits with you, or even if you don't have spirits with you, but you have ancestral shrine and everything, and your ancestors are helping you, but you are not paying back, or you are not saying thank you to them. When that money, fu pangoli or fu pangoli or fu engoli, I think the Yoruba will say ofu and owori. When this oracle fall for you, then you are supposed to go and make sure you feed your spirits or feed your ancestors or feed any energy that is working for you. Otherwise, those very energies will attack you and bring problem into your life. That is what Fukpagole means in divination. Thank you very much. John, welcome.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Great to be here.
Thanks. And then we have Ben Dada. Good afternoon, Papa. Is it possible for things to go bad after bathing with the herbs mixtures? If possible, what is the cause of it? Ben, is it Ben? Ben Dada. I am not sure what question you are asking. Whether after bathing herbs and things can go well. Who has prepared the herbs for you, and upon what reason was the herbs prepared, and what kind of herbs were prepared for you? I cannot give you answer on this because I don't know, and you cannot just go and get any herb and then just bath and you think that you are okay. So if you have gone for a divination, and in the divination, and they say that you should have a herbal bath, if the herbal bath is prepared properly according to what the divination says which herbs should be used, I don't see why things shouldn't go on well for you. But if people did not, or the person who prepared the herbal bath for you did not know what they are doing, and they just gather any kind of herbs and give you to bath, then I'm sorry, I cannot know what it is. Because herbs are such that each herb has gotten its own value, it has its own magic, and it has its own spirit behind it that makes things happen. That's why when they say a herbal bath should be prepared for you, the priest or the priestess should be able to know what kind of herbs that the oracle is saying or the divination is saying, and must know the herbs and must pick the proper herbs. And then when they pick the proper herbs and they prepare them for you, it should work. There are certain herbs that do not work with other herbs. So if by mistake the person who is preparing this herbal bath for you didn't know and mix up certain herbs with other herbs, the whole thing will be neutralized and there will be no energy in it. You only bath, but you will not get any power. So that's why you must go to the person who is a proper priest, someone who knows, not only see something online and start to practice it. You must go to a real physical teacher that you can be in contact with and learn from that teacher, and the teacher can guide you to know what to do with herbs. Herbs are all that the world is. What we breathe, what we eat, whatever we survive on is all coming from plants. And in Vodo, herbs are what make Vodo to be powerful. So without getting the proper herbs and you do things, there is the high possibility that you may be bathing, but you are just bathing a useless thing, and it may not have any effect on what you wanted. So Ben Dada, make sure you get to a proper priest, and a priest that is physical, who you can communicate with, and they can teach you and then guide you to using the proper help so that you will not be just bathing for bathing sake. Thank you. And let me take last question on Facebook, and then I go on to Clubhouse. And then we have Hades Yogin again. Is it possible for only worship or pay homage to deities and angels and not your ancestors? It is up to you. That is not my place to tell you whether you want to, you don't want to pay homage to your ancestors, that's your problem. Or if you want to pay only homage to angels and deities, that's your problem. It is not me who will tell you that it is good not to pay, it is good only to pay homage to deities and angels. Who made you to come here? And who has given birth to you? If you don't want to acknowledge the people who brought your ancestors or your fathers and your mothers here, that's your problem. And that is not my problem. Because I am here because of my ancestors. So I pay homage to them. My ancestors brought me here before I know what is a deity. My ancestors brought me here before I know what is an angel. My ancestors brought me here before I know whether I am a Christian or a Muslim or I'm a traditionalist. So if I, as a human being, will say I want to ignore them and not pay homage to them, I personally will feel that I have cheated myself and not even them. So if you want to pay homage only to deities and angels, it is your cup of tea. So thank you very much on that question. What have your ancestors done to you that you don't want to pay homage to them? Move the question up. Let's see. Okay, now let's go to, okay, there's one, okay, let's go to Clubhouse now.
Yes, greetings. Hello, Papa.
Hello.
Hello. I want to know if you could just give how important are the Evae or the signs that one will mark when communicating with spirit.
Okay, there are in Ewe Vodu from its source, we don't use Evae so much in marking our things for communication. We just do the incantations, we know the invocations, and not necessarily using the Evae. The Evae is most of the time used when we are feeding the witches, but then it is not even used in drawing. It is poured on the food, and that one is not called Evae anymore, even though the preparation is the same. They call it akutu. And then when you are doing ancestral stool invocation, we use the Evae not to draw so many designs as in Haitian Voodoo, but we just use the Evae as one long line. Or we do 3 different long lines of the Evae, and we tell our ancestors that they should let our lives be long as these lines, or longer than the lines. So the Evae usage, as in Haitian Voodoo, where the spirits' sigils and signatures will be drawn with it, I may even say it is coming from the Arabic and the Kabbalah background. From my own personal experience, it may be coming from a Kabbalah background, because it is in Kabbalah that when we are doing invocation, we draw the sigils and the seals of spirits, so that the spirit can pass through its own signature and also pass through its own sigil to recognize who is calling them and invoking them to appear. But then in our Ewe Voodoo practice, the Evae, as we call it Evae, is there, but it is not necessarily used in drawing spirit seals. I haven't seen it very much. It's only one of my friends that does that, but I believe he also learned it from somewhere. And I have the book of Evae that is originally coming from Haiti, but I don't really use them. So the Evae, as in Ewe Vodu, you will not see many people drawing any Evae so much. Maybe in Benin they do, but I don't know in my Ewe, Ghanaian Ewe, and Togolese Ewe. All the Voodoo practices that I have done so far, I've not seen people drawing any Evae before invoking any spirit. Nevertheless, the spirits are always working and are under command when we work with them.
Thank you. So it's more dealing with the power of the breath and the intentions and the words.
Right, that is what it is. That's why you see that the Eves, when they are going to invoke anything, we either say something into the air we have some black powders we put in our mouth, and when we speak, so that the nature will listen. That is what the Eves are more into. So the breath and the word coming out of your mouth, your tongue become powerful, that when it says things, the things should materialize.
Thank you. I just have one more.
Yes.
Is there any, I know Palo Mayombe comes from the Congo.
Yes.
And they call it a little something else. Is there any connection with Ewe Vodu with the origins of Palo Mayombe as well? Seeing that a lot of the West African tribes came together in the diasporas or in the Caribbean islands.
Yes, you see, Palo Mayombe, as it is called, coming from Congo, it is exactly as Voodoo, but then that is their word for spirit. That's why they are calling it Mayombe. But then I think the Palo may not be a Congolese word. It may be coming from a Hispanic word, that Palo.
Yeah.
Palo may be people who came from the Congo who were practicing their type of Central African Voodoo, I would say. That people who came in contact with that Central African type of Voodoo practice formed the word Palo Mayombe. But the Mayombe would probably be the Congolese or Central Africa or Central African word for spirit. I don't know. And then why it became Palo and then Mayombe, I don't know. But it is the same as Voodoo, because we, the Eves, call our own Voodoo. But then that doesn't mean that people in South Africa will also call it Voodoo. They will call it their own, in their own language, in their own name. And people in the East Africa will also call it their own name. And then, of course, in the rest of West Africa, it is only the Eves and the Fon people who call their spiritual practice Voodoo. And I think the Yorubas are calling their own Orisha. And then if we move all the way to Cote d'Ivoire and Gambia, Senegal, there will be a name for how they call their own. They may not mention it Voodoo, but they may be likening it to Voodoo just to tell people that it is the same thing. So Palo Mayombe, it is the same African traditional spirituality that is being practiced in the diaspora, and because it is coming from the Congolese background, that is why they have the Mayombe as the name in it. That's what I think it is. But it is not far from any Voodoo that any other part of Africa is practicing. But we, Eves, we call it Voodoo.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Wakiri. We are very grateful. Thank you for joining us. Is there any question from Clubhouse again? Okay, I'm going on to Facebook again. We have Jimeli Raul saying, how do you know that your ancestors are hearing you? When you pray to your ancestors in a proper way, and what you ask them for is start to materialize to you on the physical plane, then you know they are listening and they are hearing you. But if you are praying to your ancestors and nothing is materializing on your the physical plane for you, then that means they are not hearing you. You must do a reading to know what to do for them to hear you properly. Thank you. And then we have Eliklin Kulio Singh. Kulewoshi Togi, thanks so much for the explanation. Thank you very much, Eliklin. I'm very grateful that you asked that question. Then we have Kwaku Agbeko. We have a Kwaku Agbeko. Papa, you always speak the truth and fact with a lot of proofs. We may have the same journey, and you are my teacher. Thank you very much, Kwaku Agbeko. We are all learning from one another. Nobody knows it all. That's why I travel far and near to learn. Because if I know it all, I will not learn again. It is only the fool who thinks that they know it all. I am not foolish. That's why I keep learning every day. And then we have a hidden yogin again. I don't ask questions for my own personal gain. Like most people, I ask hoping it can give insight to someone or anyone here. I agree with you. I agree with you, Hidden. That's why because if people don't want to pray to their ancestors, but they want to pray to angels and pray to deities, it is their own cup of tea. Because if your ancestors were able to bring you to this world through their DNA and bloodline, and you look at them as nobodies, that's why you don't want to pay homage to them. That is up to the person. But to me, my ancestors brought me here, and I am paying homage to them for bringing me to this phase of life. And we have someone sending us a flower called Talaya. Oh, let me see. We have Talaya Jones sending us a flower. Thank you very much, Talaya. We are very grateful that you joined us and you are listening to us. Thank you very much. Then we have Hades was saying, he didn't ask question. Yes, anyone, no ego trip or personal interest here. So please don't be offended by questions. It's all love. I come seeking wisdom from an elder, not something I can Google. You feel me? Okay, I agree with you, Eugene. I agree with you. But you see, when people go to that extent by looking at their ancestors and thinking their ancestors are useless, are devils, but then they want to worship God, they want to worship deities, they want to worship an angel. Who brought them here before they knew what angel is or a deity is? And if that very vehicle that brought you here to you today becomes a vehicle of devilish journey or whatever, and you don't want to pay homage, it is their own problem. I pay homage to my ancestors. Then we have Jimel again here. Thank you very much, and you are very much welcome, Jimel Raul. Thank you. And then we have Ben Dada. How can one pray properly to one's ancestors then? Yes, Ben, we have a way of pouring libation, and that's what I do every Sunday before I start my interaction with people. I pray and I pour libation. And if you didn't follow us over this time, you can go online and find our pages where I taught about how to pour libation. I even said that people should find bowls, either earthenware bowls or buckets or whatever, fetch sand into them, put it in their room in a corner somewhere that they can designate as a sacred place in their room for praying to their ancestors. So there is the process of praying to the ancestors. First, you call the name of God or energies. You call your ancestors, then you call the energies that you are working with. So maybe you go back into our videos of last year and you'll be able to learn how to do it. But if after watching the videos and you still couldn't understand, you can contact me or contact Senna and Pele and other people that are working with us, and they can go into details and teach you step by step praying to your ancestors. But you must first know who your ancestors are, find their names, and then when you are praying, you can now use their names in the prayer. That is when your ancestors will begin to hear you, and you have to introduce you that it is you, the son of this person or the daughter of that person from their ancestral line. You are the one praying to them, and they will surely listen to you. Thank you very much. And we are going on to YouTube now, and we got Juliet A. Greetings from NYC. I think that should be in New York City. Wishing you and the AMT family many blessings. Thank you for your leadership and teaching. Bokor. Thank you very much, Juliet, for joining and being part of this. May the ancestors continue blessing and opening doors for you. Then we have Mario Young. Good evening, Daddy, and the AMT family. Greetings from India. Thank you very much, Mario. Thank you, and my greetings to your mom and all the aunties there. Thank you very much for joining. May your ancestors continue to bless you and bring good luck to your ways. And then we have Irene Neil, Irene, Iboru, Iboya, Ibochiche, Baba, thank you. I think that the Afa prayer, we will say Aboru, Aboye, Abokiche. That's how the Eves will translate what the Yoruba are saying. So when somebody say that Afa is not from Yoruba land, the person doesn't know what he's saying. And then Boruboya, it's okay. Then we have SK, I cannot pronounce that name, SKFOGLR and DKFOD. Who that name is, I don't know how to pronounce it, but that's what I have just spelled. Does Voodoo tell us what happens if a person dies? Where do they go? Or is it like Jews that don't believe in life after death? We believe in life after death, and we believe very strongly when we die, we join our ancestors. That's why sometimes we say ancestors are being born back again. We believe in reincarnation too. So Voodoo believes that when you die, you join your ancestral host. You also become an ancestor. That's why when our Ewe people, when we are burying you, when we are burying the corpse, we say that we are sending you back to your ancestors. So we believe life after death. Have you ever dreamt before? If you have dreamed and you are dreaming while you are asleep and your body is lying on your bed, and yet still you can see your spirit being busy and roaming about, then you should know that there is life after death. Why did I say so? Because here you are sleeping, your body is powerless, and yet still part of you, which you think is you, is moving about. Where is it going and where has it been? Supposing you are in that state and you did not wake up into the physical world again, what will people say? They will say you are dead. But meanwhile, your spirit or your inner self, your soul, has been very busy moving about. It's only that it could not come back to the physical body to wake up. So there is life after death. Thank you very much, SKL. Then we have a solitary serpent. Do you have Dattatreya? No, I don't even know it before I will have it. I don't even know it at all. What is Dattatreya? I don't even know. I've never even heard the name before. So thank you very much. And then we have a regardless steady. Papa, please, what is the work of the Egu spirit? Egu as a spirit is the spirit of iron. Is the spirit of iron. Whatever iron can be used to do, knife, cutlass, gun, hoe, and all, even now today, car and everything, is believed that it is iron, the spirit of iron is the one that has brought those things, and the spirit of iron is the one that is in charge of them. That's why we call it Egu, Ewe, and the Yorubas call it Ogun. So it is the spirit of iron, and whatever iron can do, that's what Egu does, or the spirit of Egu does. So yeah, it is limitless, and the spirit, people who possess it, they use it to do things that metals can do. You can also employ Egu in your farm work, because the hoe and everything is made by Egu. So if you involve the spirit of Egu into your farm work, whereby you are telling Egu that you are using its energy to do your farm, so it should help your farm to grow. Yes, so the Egu can be used in many, many ways that iron is used. So that's what it is. So that's what it is. Thank you very much, regardless, Teddy. That's on YouTube. Then we have Nuku Ameibo. Good evening, Papa. Hello, Nuku. How are you? Thank you very much for joining us. Hope you are fine. Then Nuku again is asking, hope you are good. What are the areas of expertise if one wants to become a Bokor? Could you please elaborate on that? When you become a Bokor, you are now initiated into Fa or Ifa, as the Yorubas may call it. And being initiated into Ifa does not mean that you know everything just by being initiated. But what advantage you gain is that you will now know your Boli or your Ifa Odu, and you will now know your destiny path. You will know what you are supposed to come and do in this world, and things you should associate with, things you should not associate with, foods you should eat and foods you should not eat, and how you should live your life. The spirits that are in your destiny, or the Vodo spirits that or orishas that are in your destiny, you will know them, so you can decide to get initiated into those orishas or into those vodus that are in your afadu or boli. Then you will now know what. Then you will now begin to live. You are now living because you know where the pitfalls are, and where the hedges and the hurdles are, and you will know how to walk, and you will know how to approach life in a very conscious way. That is what, when you are initiated into Fa, gives you. You begin to live properly. If you don't want to live properly, that is also up to you. After you know that, don't drink a foamy drink. Let's say, for instance, don't drink palm wine, because palm wine is not good for you. Or do not drink beer, because beer is not good for you, because they are all foamy drinks. But after listening and knowing all this, and you think that, oh, it does not mean anything, and you want to drink palm wine, you can go ahead. If you want to drink beer, you can go ahead. The consequences will come back to you. So that is how Ifa initiation is. And when you are initiated into Ifa or Afa, you become Bokor. Bokor actually, from some people's understanding or explanation, is that somebody who has got a higher intuition. So that's what it is said to be. Whether that is the real meaning of it, I don't know. But when you are initiated into Fa, you will become Bokor. And first is you become Bokor V, and then you become Bokor, you become Tobokor, you become Awuno, you become. They have so many titles in it, but I am not interested in title. What I am interested is that if I am what I am doing, and I'm learning, and I'm doing, and I'm using it, and it is helping my life, that's all that I want. I'm not looking for title, how important I am, but I'm just teaching and doing it the way I can do it to benefit myself and to benefit society. It is not title that I wanted. So that's why we, all of us who have been initiated in our shrine, we don't have any Bokor name. We don't have any Afa name that we take. It's not important. We remain with our Bokor Costa Rica, because that time which is a family name. And so it is just that we don't have any interest in titling. What we have interest in that what heinous crime, and somebody cursed them, and the curse affects you, then that's that. But why how can you be in the womb and they will curse you? Then the people who are giving birth to you didn't work well. That's when a child will be in the womb and somebody will curse it. Like, what for? And why should somebody curse somebody? There must be some reason why people will curse a child in the womb. That's what I'm saying. If your father and your mother, or your ancestors, grandfather and grandmother, didn't do certain things well in society, and that's why they curse the womb or a child in the womb that way. But normally I don't see it. I don't know. I cannot understand. And then we have our sister Monica Kova here. Good morning, blessings to you and your family. Thank you very much, Monica. It's been a while. I haven't seen you for a while. Thank you very much for joining. And then we have Irene Neo again. Say Ashe. Okay. Thank you very much, Irene Neo. Regardless, Teddy say, Papa, can I pray to only one ancestor? I'm asking this because the only ancestor I know is my late grandfather. Yes, of course. It's who you know is what you pray to. You don't pray to what you don't know. That's why when we are praying to the ancestors, we call the ones that we know, and then afterwards we say known and the unknown. Say, I'm coming and see, I think What is happening to the internet here is not connecting well. And the clubhouse is going on and off. I don't know whether you can start a room or